Now let's start our today's class. Today I am taking the revision class of life processes in which I will focus on nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and different types of heterotrophic nutrition. And here in this class you will learn these facts in revision class so that you can know about the nutrition process again and you can attempt your questions in Monday test properly. Now, one topic that we have not covered in earlier classes is autotrophic nutrition and role of stomata. We will start from here. With the help of this animation, you will revise this topic again. What happens in autotrophic nutrition in green plants?
Autotrophs and heterotrophs. In order to live, all organisms require food sources that provide them with energy. Plants make their own food and are therefore referred to as autotrophs. During the process known as photosynthesis, plants absorb energy from sunlight, take in carbon dioxide from the air through their leaves, and draw up water through their roots to produce their own food in the form of glucose. All green plants exhibit autotrophic nutrition, meaning they are able to create more complex food from inorganic substances. In their leaves, plants have a green pigment named chlorophyll, and it is useful in absorbing light energy from the sun. Because green algae contain chlorophyll, they are also considered autotrophs. Autotrophic nutrition can only occur during the daytime when sunlight is present. Animals are heterotrophic organisms that cannot produce their own food for energy and instead depend on other organisms such as plants or other animals. They exhibit heterotrophic nutrition, meaning they rely on complex organic compounds from other sources for their energy. A cow, for example, must eat grass to get its energy. An eagle will have to eat other animals for its energy. All animals and fungi are heterotrophs. Because it is independent on sunlight, heterotrophic nutrition can occur at any time. Summary: autotrophs make their own food. Heterotrophs rely on other sources for their food. Autotrophic nutrition will occur only during daytime. Heterotrophic nutrition can occur at any time. Green plants and algae are autotrophs. All animals and fungi are heterotrophs.
I think now you are clear about the important facts related with the autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition once again. Now come to revise the topic with the help of these keywords. Most probably all of you have completed these terms in your notes and your notebook because we have already discussed about these keywords in earlier classes. Now once we will revise it. First keyword is in the process of nutrition is autotrophic nutrition. Means process of nutrition in which organisms synthesize their own food material from inorganic sources. That is known as autotrophic nutrition. Now come to the next keyword, heterotrophic nutrition. Nutrition obtained by digesting the organic compounds. That is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Like in this figure, you are seeing that cow is doing the heterotrophic nutrition. Next keyword is photosynthesis. The process by which green plants use sunlight to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. Here you can see that water, carbon dioxide give rise to the complex food substance. What is this? This is glucose in the form of starch formed inside the leaves, and oxygen is released in this process. Autotrophs. This is the word refer to a group of organisms that synthesize their own food. All green plants are known as autotrophs. Heterotrophs, organism that cannot synthesize its own food and dependent on complex organic substances for nutrition, for example, different animals. Chlorophyll. This is a green pigment responsible for absorption of light during photosynthesis. Here is the structure of the chlorophyll molecule that you can see here in this diagram, and this is one of the important conditions required for photosynthesis or autotrophic nutrition. Green algae. This is one another group of organisms which also exhibit autotrophic nutrition. A large group of eukaryotic photosynthetic organisms containing chlorophyll but lacking true stems, roots, leaves, and vascular tissues. But they are also going for the autotrophic nutrition. Now I think all these keywords are clear to you. Come to the next. Here is one exercise where you can see that how can we differentiate between autotrophs and heterotrophs. Here, rely on other source for their food. That is the point that is come in case of autotrophs. Now, if we will put here,
Try again.
rely on other sources for their food, that should be correct for heterotrophs. That's why it will fix here.
Excellent.
Fungi we can group here. They are heterotrophs or autotrophs. They are heterotrophs. That's why
Try again.
we will drag here.
Excellent.
And nutrition occurs at any time. Nutrition occurs at any time is also one of the characteristic feature of.
Try again.
This is also the characteristic feature of
Try again.
heterotrophs.
Try again. Try again. Excellent.
Now, all animals that we can keep in which category they are coming? They are coming in heterotrophs.
Excellent.
Green plants that we will put in here in autotrophs.
Excellent.
Algae, they are also autotrophs. We will put that
Excellent.
also here. Make their own food. Again, the characteristic feature of autotrophs.
Excellent.
Nutrition occur only during daytime. That is also one of the characteristic feature of autotrophs.
Try again.
Now,
Excellent.
Now, these are the important differences or the comparison points that we have discussed in this class again in revision form. Autotrophs make their own food, but heterotrophs rely on other sources for their food. Autotrophs, nutrition occur only during daytime, but in heterotrophs, nutrition occur at any time. And in autotrophs, green plants and algae are coming, but here all animals and fungi are coming. Now come to the next. This is the flow chart which is shown here, in which you can again revise the topic that autotrophs and heterotrophs. Now all these points we have already covered up. You can see that all these here. Now come to the next part of the. Now what is transpiration and how it is going on?
You know that plants need water to grow. However, they utilize only 1 to 2% of the water absorbed by roots and give out the rest through a process called transpiration. Strange, right? Let us see how. Water evaporates from the leaves through tiny pores on their surface called stomata. This process occurs during photosynthesis.
I think you have already read about this fact. The number of stomata varies from about 1000 to over
When the
10,000.
stomata are open, water vapor and oxygen produced during photosynthesis diffuse out of the leaf. At the same time, carbon dioxide needed for photosynthesis is absorbed by the leaf. The opening and closing of the stomata occurs in response to changes in the environment, such as light, water, temperature, humidity, and the concentration of carbon dioxide within the leaf. The opening and closing of the stomata is regulated by two specialized cells called guard cells.
Grasses have guard cells that resemble slender dumbbell, whereas trees and shrubs have guard cells resemble kidney bean cells. Here you can see that kidney bean like guard cells.
In sunlight, when photosynthesis takes place, the guard cells get filled with water and become swollen. This causes the stomata to open, allowing water vapor and oxygen to diffuse out and carbon dioxide to get absorbed. If there is no light for photosynthesis to take place, or if the plant lacks water, the guard cells lose water and shrink. This causes the stomata to close and no exchange of material takes place. Thus, the plant conserves water. Sometimes, in the middle of the day, if the outside temperature rises considerably or the plant tends to lose too much water, the stomatal openings close. Based on what you've just learnt, how do you think humidity affects stomatal opening and closing?
Yes, can you give the answer of this question? If there will be more humidity, how it will affect the process of transpiration or photosynthesis? Yes, it will decrease the rate of transpiration and photosynthesis. Now, come to the next part of the class in which we will revise our topic types of nutrition. That is heterotrophic nutrition, in which with the help of this 3D we will revise the types of nutrition.
Types of nutrition. Nutrition is the process of taking in and then utilizing food. Not all organisms use the same method for taking in their food. Plants are autotrophs, meaning they make their own food through photosynthesis. Animals consume plants or other animals, and we refer to them as heterotrophs, meaning they cannot make their own food and must rely on outside sources for nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition can be divided into three types: holozoic, saprozoic, and parasitic. Holozoic nutrition is the typical animal like feeding during which food is digested inside the body. Let's look at holozoic nutrition in an amoeba, a one-celled organism that is able to change its shape. With the help from its false feet, known as pseudopodia, an amoeba will move towards a food source such as bacteria. When it reaches the food particle, it will stretch its pseudopodia around the food. Once the food is inside the amoeba, a food vacuole will form around it. Soon, digestion will occur within this vacuole. The digested food will move into the cytoplasm, while undigested wastes will move out of the vacuole. Humans are also holozoic organisms because we take in food and then digest it using specialized organs such as our stomach and intestine. Saprozoic nutrition is the process by which nutrition is obtained through the absorption of pre-digested, dissolved organic material. The mucor fungus produces filament-like structures called hyphae that will penetrate rotten fruits and vegetables such as a tomato. The tips of these hyphae contain vesicles that are filled with digestive enzymes that are released outside of the hypha. Because they are digestive enzymes, the nutrients of the tomato will be converted into a fluid. Here we see digestion occurring outside the body. The hyphae can then absorb the pre-digested, fluid-like food. Parasitic nutrition is the process by which one organism, a parasite, will feed on another organism, its host. Mosquitoes and leeches survive using parasitic nutrition. The mosquito, an external parasite of humans and animals, will pierce our skin to feed on our blood. While a mosquito feeds on the host as an ectoparasite, meaning external. Worms such as the tapeworm or roundworm are endoparasites, living inside the intestines of their host. Summary: autotrophs make their own food. Heterotrophs derive nutrition from autotrophs or other heterotrophs. Holozoic nutrition is the typical animal-like nutrition during which food is digested inside the body. During saprozoic nutrition, the food is digested outside the body and is then absorbed. Parasitic nutrition is the feeding of parasites on hosts.
Now I think you are clear about all the types of nutrition and we have revised them in a proper way, and for detail you can see the videos in earlier sections or earlier classes I have already sent to you. Now we will revise the important keywords related with the types of nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition, once again this keyword can be defined as process of nutrition in which organisms synthesize their own food material from inorganic sources. Heterotrophic nutrition is the mode of feeding on other organisms. Holozoic nutrition, mode of heterotrophic nutrition that involves the ingestion of food and converting it into simpler form, like in case of amoeba also and in humans being. Saprophytic nutrition, mode of nutrition that depends on dead and decaying matter, like in case of fungi just now you have seen in the presentation. Parasitic nutrition, mode of heterotrophic nutrition where an organism feeds on or inside another organism. If they feeds on, then they are considered as ectoparasites. If they feeds inside other organism, then they are known as endoparasite. Here, if this is a mosquito, considered as ectoparasite. Amoeba, a protozoan organism that feeds with the help of pseudopodia. Fungus, organism that lacks chlorophyll and feeds on organic matter by the saprophytic type of nutrition. Here is the concept map of types of nutrition in which again the same thing that we have just now revised with the help of presentation. Here, with the help of this flow chart, also you can revise these facts once again. Here is one activity. Digest the food inside the body. In which digest the food inside the body, that we can drag here in humans.
Excellent.
And autotrophic nutrition, we can select it for plants.
Excellent.
Parasitic nutrition, that we can select here.
Excellent.
Digest food outside the body. This is the characteristic feature of fungi.
Excellent.
Saprophytic nutrition, again in case of mucor or fungus.
Excellent.
Synthesize their own food, plants or autotrophs.
Excellent.
Feeding on or inside the host, parasitic.
Excellent.
Holozoic nutrition, process of nutrition in humans.
Excellent.
Now all these facts again we have revised, and now come to that I have already given you during the earlier classes. Maybe you have already completed this. Now come to see once again to revise the process of digestion in humans or our digestive system with the help of this video.
The food we eat provides us with energy. This food is complex and needs to be broken down into simpler forms to produce energy. This is done by our digestive system.
The process of digestion involves physical and chemical breakdown of complex food matter.
The human digestive tract extends from the mouth to the anus. As food passes through this tract, it is processed, digested, and absorbed, while the undigested food is excreted. Food is ingested through the mouth. Here, it is ground by teeth and mixed with saliva by the rolling movement of the tongue. The enzyme, salivary amylase, present in the saliva, breaks down starch to sugar. The partly digested food is passed down through the esophagus to the stomach by wave-like muscle contractions called peristalsis. The stomach muscles churn and mix the food with gastric juices that contain hydrochloric acid, an enzyme called pepsin, and mucus, digesting it further. Once food is digested in the stomach, it is passed into the small intestine. The muscle that controls this flow is the pyloric sphincter. The food is completely digested in the small intestine, which is a 6 to 7 meter long coiled tube. Secretions of the liver and pancreas are released into the small intestine, which digests the food further.
Here are these two juices. Bile juice secreted by the liver contains bile salts that help to emulsify the fats, and one another juice, that is
pancreatic juice secreted by the pancreas contains enzymes trypsin and lipase. Trypsin digests proteins while lipase breaks down the emulsified fats. Intestinal juice secreted by the small intestine contains enzymes which break down protein to amino acids, carbohydrates to glucose, and fats to fatty acids and glycerol.
That means these are the final products.
The digested food is absorbed by numerous finger-like projections called villi that are present on the walls of the small intestine. They are rich in supply of blood vessels which transport the absorbed food to the different parts of the body. The undigested and unabsorbed food is now passed into the large intestine where the villi absorb water and salts. The undigested food now takes on a solid shape. It is stored in the rectum until it can be excreted through the anus.
Now with that, we have finished this topic once again, that is the nutrition process in the all types of organisms. Now I think all the doubts related with nutrition are clear to you. Rest of the topics I have already covered up in the previous uh, videos that you can revise from there. And with that, we have completed all the topics of the life processes, and all the best for your exams now. And on Monday you are having the test in which bio in I have already shared the syllabus. Life processes is coming, and I have revised in today's class. Now I am attaching one practice MCQ question answer sheet with this as assignment with the solutions that you can revise for the test. Now I am going to close the class.